Hi folks, we are in the sick room still. Not Miss Katie's sick room and not mine. We are in the game room, which has been, it's now week 3 of being Patsy's sick room. But Patsy's convalescence has seemingly gone pretty well. But we will find out tomorrow because she goes to the vets at 1100 or 1120 for a reconfirmation on everything. So, yesterday, much to our surprise, something that has never happened before, we got a box of games from Compass that we didn't buy. Compass sent us some games, I think, to review or to look at. The first of the two is an Attrition of Souls. The second is Zeppelin Raider, which is, it's somewhere around here at the moment. But Attrition of Souls. So, now we're going to trick Miss Katie and ask her, what game is she holding today?
An Attrition of Souls.
Dang, folks, she was ready for that. Do you know what it's about?
No.
Take a look at the front cover.
World War One.
Which my granddaddy was in.
Oh, did I have family in World War One?
No, you didn't have any family in World War
No, we
One.
had Mexican American. We had the, what's the one at the end of the 1800s?
You were in the Spanish American War.
Spanish American War.
Right, so.
Yes.
But yeah, new game. I'd taken everything out of the box. Miss Katie said it felt like it had one of my most beloved things in it. A mounted map board. So, we're sort of excited about talking about this one because this was a game we'd actually bought ourselves, and so we owed Compass the courtesy of doing an unboxing video and then probably a game review video for the decency of sending us this. So, and in a little bit we'll be having dinner. We'll be watching episode 2 of Band of Brothers when it's the actual D-Day jump, which makes me twitchy because all those tracers make me twitchy. After Iraq, tracer rounds just make me twitchy. So, but that's a different story. All right, folks, we're happy here. It was 50 at our house this morning.
Delightfully cool.
The weather has broken, so
We're ready for fall.
yes, and wow, it's funny. We were doing videos last year on a World War I game on Gary Graber with the leaves falling. So we're home before the leaves fall.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, well, the jokes are.
It's counting down.
Off camera and on camera because we were making certain things were working today. How about that, folks? It's been a wild week here, folks, but World War I game. Miss Katie was holding it up. An Attrition of Souls. Ta-da! As we like to say around here, World War I games are like chipped or broken teeth, and having just had what was it I had done? I had a crown done.
You did.
The VA gave me, well, if you watch Owl Kitty gives Tom Cruise the claw. The VA had been giving me the claw for a while, for 8 months. So my dentist just finally said, hey, Colonel Smith, let's take care of this. But World War I games are like chipped or broken teeth because you're always kind of gone to find one you really like. You just can't keep the tongue out of that spot. So, I like World War I games. I was brought up on World War I. World War I to us was the war to end all wars. In school at 11 o'clock on the 11th day, everything stopped. You bowed your head when we were in grade school. It was a moment of silence. Today it is a generic Veterans Day, which means nothing. When we were at the University of London in the fall of 1978, it may have been the only day I didn't chase birds. But in that period leading up, there were lots of street vendors, and if you didn't have a poppy on you, and that included, and this is the height of the punk rock era, they all had poppies. Now today in England, if you say something wrong, they want to arrest you. Then, if you didn't have a poppy, everybody had poppies. So, let's start with components, and Miss Katie's gonna gently tilt the stuff to get towards the map.
And let's pray I do it right, folks. Mm-hmm.
All right, do we have all the map in there, Miss?
Yes.
Okay. You know, when I first looked at this map, I kind of said to myself, what in the Sam Hill are these folks doing? And the more I looked at it and read the rules, and let me tell you, the rules. I don't like the rule writing at first because it's the he, she, nonsense rule writing. But this was a rare game that when I got done reading the rules, I could remember what Scott Lee Brand had written. And it's what I tell my graduate military students. If I can remember what you wrote at the end of the 14th paper I graded, you are totally on with what you're doing. So, but this map, man, I love the way it's laid out here with the turn record there, and there are no hexes, and think of it sort of as an evolution maybe of the Ted Mercier boxes, and instead you have these large boxes. Well, I found it all worked very well. I really liked it. I think it's a very informative map. You can look at the map and take everything in at once and have some clue what's going on. I think it is a very visually appealing map. Let's see what Miss Katie thinks.
It's pretty.
She says it's pretty. So, the chick vote is pretty. I'll live with that. Other companies and folks should take a look at this and go, wow, and the shades of blue, everything works in this one. The game counters. Well, at first I fussed about game counters. So Miss Katie, if you would kind of tilt stuff back towards me. Game counters, I fussed at first because I didn't like the black silhouettes. You know, come on, we could do something different. But then I said, but they all have different poses, and does that really matter that much? I said, nah, didn't really matter that much. Didn't fuss with it. There are some nice cards in the game. They're going to hold up, I think, the repeated play. We've got the Miss Katie card from the Central Powers.
Matahari.
Matahari, that's the Miss Katie card. And then we've got what I have been hammering on in my classes lately, naval power, the blockade, which means German artillery and airplane tiles destroyed during this turn or permanently removed from the game. Okay. But each side has a series of cards. The counters, good thick counters, bright enough, and they work on that game board. I don't know if you can see that, but okay, she said you could. They work. Miss Katie liked this.
Lovely gaming pouches.
Yeah, she said they're like jewelry pouches.
They're like jewelry pouches.
She was amazed that a game company would put pouches out like
they're
this.
very nice. Smitty better be careful, otherwise I may run off.
Yeah, she may run off my game pouches. And of course, cat toys. Well, okay, well they're dice, but they're cat toys around here. Cat toys. Particularly with Squirty Pie. Squirty Pie loves. But now, a 40-page rule book. Oh my God. Okay, why do I not look Miffy? Because there is the 15-page, I think it's 15 pages. Yes, the 15-page actual game. Then there are the optional rules, which go up to page 20 for folks like me, and for probably many of you. And then there are what the game cards. You like having my arm across there like that? She's supposed to be giving me some sort of arm and hand signal that I'm doing something wrong. Cards and what they are, and what the maps your player aid cards. Well conceived, well thought of book, except for the he, she writing. Okay, we already went on that, but I hate he, she writing. Now, the nice thing to include in an index, oh, there is an index now. Yay, there wasn't in my original one. There is an index here. Again, we're very happy with it. I can't fuss about anything about this now, can I? This is really, really very spiffy. Rules are richly illustrated. Very richly illustrated. Many World War I games, I like to say, seem sometimes like a rock, paper, scissors approach. The Austrians are cannon fodder, the Russians are a little better, the British are somewhat better than the Russians, the French are somewhat better than the British, and the Germans are the best of all, until the Americans come in with their overstrength divisions. So how do you break out of this design paradigm? Well, Ted Ransier's kind of done it, and I think this one does it as well. I liked the World War I game by Do It Games, but the rules were a little loosey-goosey there. I don't think the rules are all very loosey-goosey here. Now, mind you, there are no interlocking hexes. There are no series of little boxes. This all works because you can see here you've got naval, here you've got land, works for me. Interlocks. It interlocks here. Control and land pass is what I think they call it. It's minimalist. It's very minimalist, but with a sweeping glance, you take in everything. Now, there's no naval war in this, other than with your cards where you got blockade, or he's looking, unrestricted submarine warfare, or a game from Decision Games I recently reviewed, Operation Albion. So you got that. So how does the game play? Well, this is really an unboxing video, but man, I really liked when I played this game before. You place your units in your capital region, and what that seems to illustrate to me here in terms of unboxing is that you have to move and build up for a while and then redeploy everything, because nothing happened fast in World War I. Now, where's your combat result table? Oh, it must be on the player aid cards. Well, no, not on those. Your nice sequence cards. Well, it must be on your player cards. It's not there. It's not there, so there is no combat result table because your combat effects are done. And how can you see the little number in the die, Miss Katie?
No.
Okay, there's a little number in the corner.
Where is it?
Of the die, and it's a 1 on this infantry unit. So you have to roll a 1 to get a hit. So what does that mean? It means combined arms. Because to best get a hit in a battle, you need to use both your artillery and your infantry and your air, because infantry is a 1, artillery is a 2, air is a 3. So to get hits, you need a combined arms approach. Ooh, that's kind of that's required some thinking here, because mind you, this guy, as he tells you up front, has very little gaming experience in World War One. So he is totally outside. Wait for it.
Oh God, here we go.
The box. So because of that, he's able to step outside and think differently. There are card play, and then there's also, like, the Mexicans have a possibility of coming into this game, because we remember the Zimmerman telegram. The only thing I will chafe at is including Conrad as a war leader from Austria-Hungary, because Conrad, I can't recall which NBA player it is, but he was a human cancer. Conrad is the human cancer of probably all the military leaders of World War One. Just horrible leader. You know, Austria-Hungary would have been best served by him getting hit by a train before World War One started, because he pooched everything from the beginning. But I don't know if it's a brilliant design from what I can tell from unboxing, but for a designer who admits a priori they had no knowledge, he had no in-depth knowledge here, it proved to be a tremendous positive because it allowed for a fresh approach. I think the rating is maybe a 7.6 at best on Board Game Geek. It deserves better than that. It deserves much better than that, because this is a game we look at, and because you know how many games I review. I try games, for me to be thinking about a game that I've reviewed and played in the past and still have it right back here is a huge positive. And this game meets that test of me wanting to think about it more often. 2 books. Alexander Watson's The Fortress, The Great Siege of
How do you pronounce
Brazil.
How do you pronounce that?
Yeah, his Ring of Steel is one of my favorite books. It is one I consult often. And who recommended this to us? Ty Bomba recommended us to us. And then there is the sleeper book.
Solzhenitsyn.
Alexander Solzhenitsyn. His August 1914, which my departed brother recommended to me. He said, Robert, you have to read Solzhenitsyn's August 1914. He said, I haven't read it. He said, I know it's a war book, but I had to read it for literature that Junie had, and he said, it's gripping. Well, he's right, it's gripping. If you haven't read it, you need to read it. It's very Russian, of course, and it deals with the Tannenberg campaign, but Solzhenitsyn segues from that to what would be the later chaos and cancer eating away at the heart of the Tsarist Empire. So, all right, folks, there's your unboxing for this game. What's our time at, Little Miss?
This is 1913.
1913, so we'll be just about at World War I time, folks. Thanks. Y'all have a blessed day.